Everyone says YouTube is the greatest opportunity of our generation. And they're right, but not for you, for the people selling you the dream.
People want to believe you. They want to buy. You just have to help their logical brains justify the decision.
Quit your job, be your own boss, make 6 figures from your laptop, start your side hustle, and finally enjoy your life. Traveling, good food, hobbies, no more slaving away. The only thing standing between you and financial freedom is their system. But here's what none of them will tell you. More than half of all creators earn less than $15,000 a year. For context, the average McDonald's crew member in the US takes home about $27,000. These creators are earning almost half that. Only 4% ever break a $100K, and the gap is getting worse. In 2025, the top 10% of creators took home 62% of all ad revenue, up from 53% just 2 years before. What I mean is that the rich creators are getting richer and the rest of us are falling further behind. So if almost nobody makes real money from YouTube, how did these gurus earn so much? They will tell you it's their secret strategy, their algorithm hack, their system. But you are their business. Not YouTube, not content. The thing that actually pays their bills and their mortgages is convincing you that you need their help. For example, one deep dive into the business models of these gurus found that up to 70% of their income comes from selling courses, not from the YouTube channels they build their content on. And I think that's wrong. So I'm going to start a YouTube channel from zero in public. And we'll see how really easy it is to build a sustainable business on top of YouTube that doesn't sell you dreams. Every view, every dollar, every failure, document it. Who knows, maybe I'll inspire you to start creating this web. Oh, and by the way, I will be revealing the framework I went through when creating this character and everything you see later on. So stay with me for that. Are you tired of hearing that the finest niche will make you filthy rich? So was I. I heard the same thing when I was trying to figure out what videos to make. Everybody was saying that 1,000 videos in the finest niche equals $1 million in ad revenue. But it sounded too good to be true, and it actually is too good to be true. That's complete nonsense. So I followed a more, let's say, precise process to figure it all out. Niche picking feels like a mystery because it's designed to be one. The more confused you are, the more likely you are to buy someone's framework. So let me just give you mine for free. I made a compilation of the best advice I got from all these gurus, and I distilled all the information into 3 actual steps. Step 1, and this is the most important one because it saved me months of wasted time. Creating a YouTube channel in a domain you know nothing about, it's really dumb. I'm sorry, but it really is, because you'll be spending most of your time researching and looking up information, time that you could use creating videos, editing, interacting with your community. Also, your audience will smell your inexperience from miles away. But here's the thing, you don't really need to be an expert in your field. I'm sure you've heard this before, but you just need to be a couple of steps ahead of the average person in that field. That's it. So here's the test. Can you give your 3-year-ago self-advice on this topic? If the answer is yes, if you can sit that version of you down and genuinely help them, you know enough to start. For me, I spent a couple of years studying finance, and I actually started a business before. I wasn't like Warren Buffett or anything, but I'm confident I can give advice to someone just starting out in the world of business. Honestly, that is enough for step 2, and this is where most people skip the hard part. Not all content delivers value the same way. That means that there are different values that you can give to your viewer, and the one type of value that you choose shapes everything from your format, how much you win, your cadence of your posts, basically everything. So these are the value types I would think about when creating a YouTube channel. The first one is education, straight knowledge transfer. This works, of course, if you're generally advanced in your field. Think Ali Abdaal, for example. He is the professor in his field, productivity. The risk here is that if you're not far enough, people will notice and they'll let you know immediately in the comments. The second category is problem solving. Here you'll be making videos about exact solutions to specific problems. And this is best for technical niches. So if you want to show off your for coding skills, or you want to do tax walkthroughs or software guides. People find you through search, get their answer, and subscribe because they trust you'll solve the next one too. It's like being a doctor, except your patients actually follow your advice. The third category is entertainment. This is harder to pull off, but it appeals to emotion, and emotion is what people share. The trade-off, it is a little bit harder to monetize things around your channel if you're doing just entertainment, because people come there for the vibes, and they don't really watch you just to buy something. The next value type is edutainment, and this is basically the hybrid. You teach something, but you wrap it in storytelling. Documentary channels, for example, live here. This is the category I chose because I wanted to share value to you without putting you to sleep. Whether I pulled that off or not, you tell me, all right? You tell me. And the last category I want to talk about are the vlogs. These are similar to entertainment, but more personal. Here you start slower, but you can build one of the most loyal audiences on the platform. For example, travel channels live here. The audience isn't just watching your content, they're watching your life. And I ain't gonna lie, that ruled me out immediately. So pick the one that matches how your brain already works, not the one that you think sounds the most profitable. Step 3. Short form content with a higher cadence versus the long form content but with a lower cadence. This isn't really just a creative decision. Or short form content like Reels, TikTok, Shorts, you can post daily. It's way faster to produce, to test, and you get feedback immediately. Here, the algorithm is even more forgiving, but the revenue per view is a fraction of the long form, and building a deep connection with your audience is harder. Long form takes more time, more editing, more research, but it really pays better. It builds more authority and gives you something that actually compounds over time. Really, there's no right answer. There's only what you can sustain. And one more thing before we move on, this is the bonus step that people skip on all the time, and I get it, I'm lazy as well. But before you commit creating your channel, get some sort of proof of concept. Find other channels doing something similar to what you want to do, and then study them. How often do they post? What is their style? What's working? What isn't? It's important to remember you are not copying them. You're just trying to prove to your brain that there is an audience for what you want to do. This one step turns a hypothetical idea into something that you really know will work. So, at this point when I was creating my YouTube channel, I had my niche, business and finance. I had my format, long-form documentary. I also knew that I wanted my value type to be edutainment. On paper and in my brain, the channel existed. But there was one problem. I didn't want to show my face. Not because I'm shy, not because I'm ugly, although the jury's still out on that one. I wanted the content to be the star. I wanted to build something that could scale beyond one person sitting in front of a camera. So I spent over 1,000 hours over 6 months in order to learn how to do this, how to create everything that you see. I'm going to show you how to do it in exactly 6 steps. I already told you how much time I spent collecting every resource, watching every tutorial, just to learn how to create 3D, but you really don't have to. You can choose to be smart, because I'm going to compress everything I learned into a 6-step framework that could get you there in under a month. And not because you'll be cutting corners or anything, but because I already hit every wall, so you know which ones to walk around. So let's skip the generic tips and jump into what actually matters. Step 1, you actually need to model your character. And before you panic, you don't need to be a 3D artist. Start by drawing inspiration. Look at big budget animated films, Pixar, DreamWorks. Look into Spider-Verse, not to copy them, but to train your eye for what makes a character feel alive. Look at the proportions of the character, their silhouette. Learn what could make this character attractive. Then you open Blender. It's basically a 3D software. It's free, it's professional grade really, and it has one of the most generous communities in any creative field, which brings me to the real tip here. Use community assets. You don't have to model every eyelash from scratch. The Blender community has thousands of free base meshes, character templates, and asset packs. Start with what exists, make it yours, and this alone will save you weeks in time. And if you want a little bit more structure like I did, because I'm a nerd and I like structure, there are full courses on YouTube that walk you through character creation and modeling, start to finish. No paid course necessary, but those paid resources are there as well, and they're awesome. Step 2, it's time to get texturing. This is what makes your model actually look great. Like, you can do this in Blender, but honestly, I wouldn't recommend it. It's way harder than it should be, and then it needs to be for the stage. My recommendation is Substance Painter from Adobe, even if I'm not sponsored for this video. Think of it as Photoshop, but for 3D objects. You can paint directly onto your model, skin, clothing, wear and tear, scratches, everything, and all of it feels very intuitive if you ever use any image editor. There is a little bit of a learning curve, but honestly, it's way shorter than you'd expect. Right, so step 3, rigging. This is where we build a skeleton for a model so we can move through space. A lot of people quit because we get into really tedious work, but don't worry, just stick to it and you'll be fine. It's also the step that turns a statue into a living thing, so it's really worth the pain. So basically there are two components to this. First, you need to build the skeleton in the shape of your character, and then the harder part is with facial animations. If you have an iPhone with Face ID and you want your character face to move with your face in real time, you need to sculpt 52 shape keys. 52. Each one is a specific facial micro movement, like eyebrow up, mouth left, jaw open. Every single expression your face can make needs to be manually sculpted into the model, so the phone can track it and translate it onto your character. It's the most time-consuming part of the entire process, but once it's done, your character will be able to move when you move, and honestly, it starts feeling more like a person. Step 4, world building. Same tools, same process as the character, but now you're building the space they live in. This is where your channel visual identity comes together. The set, the lighting, the mood. Is your character in a studio, a living room, a void? Every choice here communicates something to the viewer before you say a single word. And here the same tip applies. Community assets are your best friend. You don't need to model every chair and lamp. Find what exists, arrange it with intention, and you better be sure you light it well. Step 5, animation, and specifically motion capture. Here we use mocap solutions. Mocap lets you act out the movement yourself and transfer the data onto your character in real time. And honestly, the range of solutions right now is wild. On the affordable end, Sony's Mockup. You get a bunch of small sensors, wireless, surprisingly capable for the price, or if you already have a VR setup, Vive trackers can handle body tracking pretty well. On the higher end, there are Coco and Movella, full body suits with finger tracking, more precision, smoother data. These are what studios use, but they've become accessible enough for solo creators as well. And for face capture specifically, if you did the 52 shape keys in step 3, an iPhone with Face ID is generally all you need. The technology developed so quickly that the front-facing sensor is doing the same thing that used to require $10,000 rigs. The point is, you don't need a Hollywood budget. You just need to pick the setup that matches your wallet and your budget and just commit to it. So here we are at step 6, and this one is the one that people underestimate the most, and I'm gonna fly through it. You can have the most beautiful 3D character on the planet, but if your editing is boring, your pacing is off, your audio sounds like you're recording in a washing machine, nobody's watching past a few seconds. You need to start learning editing software. Pick Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve if you want the free solution, and learn it properly. Not just cuts and transitions, but pacing, sound design, color grading, and how to structure a video so people actually stay. Because at the end of the day, YouTube doesn't care how cool your avatar is. YouTube really cares whether people watch until the end. So 6 steps, that's it. That's what stays between you and your dream of having a character that moves when you move, talks when you talk, and lets you build a channel without showing off your face. It's not easy, I won't pretend it is. It took me a lot of time to figure this out the hard way, but now the path exists. You don't need 1,000 hours. You need consistency, stubbornness, and a willingness to make something terrible before you make something good. So right now, you've got the niche, you've got the character, you've got the tools. Now let's talk about what actually happens when we hit upload. Well, I'm just kidding, because this is my first video I'm uploading. Like I said, I'm not a guru, so we'll learn together. Before you click off, thank you so much for staying and watching this until the end. As you can imagine, making videos like this takes a lot of time, editing, researching, scripting. So I would really appreciate it if you could help me by clicking that like button or comment down below. Thanks, and see you into the next one.